Now got two brother Lim, you know. Must specify CK
Brother
or TC.
CK Lim. Brother Sadiris, welcome.
Sister Diana, we are live in Facebook.
Yeah, Liana.
Okay.
So,
Brother
please
Lim,
go
you
ahead.
Yeah, okay. Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyana Mitras Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 55 by Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima. Please be informed that there will be a Vesak Day procession on this coming Sunday, 7th of May 2023. It will be start from 5:30 p.m. onwards at Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana Klang. Everyone is welcome to join in, so let's come and join us in the celebration of Vesak Day. See you all there. Tonight is the 6th class of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and we are going to continue discussing the middle part about right speech or sammāvācā. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is the 5th sutta from the total of 10 suttas that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana's Klang Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous 54 classes there. The Sutta discussion Zoom class is always open. Therefore, whoever that wish to join the class where we can engage directly with Bhante can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amapadana Klang's Facebook Messenger. We are always welcoming newcomers. Our speaker, Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima, currently is the Senior Advisor at Patisotta Canada, a virtual Dhamma organization that helps beginner as well as expert students in learning Dhamma in variety of ways. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Patisotta's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conduct on regular basis. You can check on Patisotta with the link www.patisotta.blogspot.com. Bhante Dr. Ganggodawila Chandima earned his PhD in Buddhist Studies in 2015 from University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2015, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante. Thank you very much for the wonderful talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Aliana,
Good evening, Bhante.
for the introduction. And yeah, it's just the following day of Vesak from your, what do you call, country's way of celebrating. So Sri Lanka, it's today. They had they're actually celebrating Vesak full moon Poya Day today, and then the following day to Vesak. So they both are actually being used for Vesak activities. Predominantly, today is the day that they take precepts, 8 precepts, and the tomorrow, Saturday, is going to be the day, the processions and what do you call, free food, free ice cream, and everything. It's a very fun day, I think, for many. So yeah. So welcome back, everybody. So we have, again, Aliana is doing a lot of things. Aliana, Lim, and we have, Brother Wu today. And
yes,
Kim,
sir.
yeah, good to see you. You have Kim, always interested about what we are discussing. You have Kelvin back here. And we have, again, Sister Kim was asking, is there 2 Lim over here? That's you, TC Lim, and Yang, Na, Sadhuris, Kema, and I probably think some might join as we proceed. All right, so let's get started by paying respect to Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. All right. So, how was the Vesak day? How did you celebrate? I think some of you were in the temple, I guess, for the ceremony. I probably think some might be a little far away from the temple, Klang area. So we have Brother Boo. Are you nearby the temple? Close to the
Yeah,
temple?
I was in Klang,
Okay.
Klang and Coast Buddhist Association.
Oh, is it another organization?
Yes, another one.
Okay, great. How about Kelvin? Were you a part of the local temple over there?
Yes, but it's still under the Ti-Ratana banner, but it's based in Puchong.
Oh,
So I went to the Puchong one, yeah.
great. How about Tisile? Did you attend any ceremony, Vesak ceremony on Vesak Day?
Meta Lodge, Johor.
Oh, Johor. Are you from Johor Bahru?
Yes.
Great. And I think Lim must be definitely at the temple doing a lot of
Yeah.
things. I have no problem to ask anything. How about Yen Cheng Na?
I was at Samadhi Vihara.
Samadhi Vihara. Okay, great. The other gentleman last Friday mentioned about Samadhi Vihara. Dihan. Did you meet him over there, temple?
Which one you mean? The
The
Samadhi?
Dihan who is coming to our discussion.
Ti-Ratana?
No, Samadhi Vihara.
I went there. I didn't
Maybe
hear
a
your
different
question.
time.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Sadhris, how about you? Did you attend a temple in Singapore?
The Singapore celebration is on the 2nd of June.
Oh, it's not yet.
Not yet.
Mhm.
Only the
Okay.
English New Year on the 14th of April, that's it.
Okay, I see. Great. Hema must have been in the temple too, I guess. How about this? Could be a new person, new friend to us, huh? Jacqueline Lim. Is this the new person, Aliana? Oh, today. She or he?
Yes. Yes, Bhante. Sister Lim,
Oh.
Jacqueline, I think, yeah, she's the
Okay,
first
okay.
time
Must be a devotee in the temple.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So there must have been different events in the temple, right? What kind of events did you celebrate? Did you do for the Vesak Day? Probably bathing the Buddha,
Bathing the
the
Buddha,
Prince Siddhartha.
Buddha.
What else?
chanting,
Chanting. Sangikadana, maybe.
Offering of ropes,
Sangikadana,
offering ropes, flowers.
offering ropes, flowers.
Mm.
Lot of
Lights.
things. Did you have this floating procession?
not yet.
It
Sunday.
is going to be on Sunday, right?
Yes, coming soon.
Yeah. How long you're going to travel with that
5
floating
km.
procession?
Approximately, maybe around 6 kilometers.
6 kilometers. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Sounds good. Okay, so we are supposed to discuss about sammāvācā, right speech. If you could revisit what we discussed on last Friday, you could remember it was sammā saṅkappa. Isn't it correct? Sammā
Yes.
saṅkappa. Sammā saṅkappa means right intention. Now, I actually shared with you there are issues with these Pali words, especially not with the Pali words, but with the English translations. For example, samma. Is samma right? Does samma mean right? Right? Because when you say right, it is attached to the what you call the jurisprudence, I mean the legal context. Right? This is my right of way in my mind. So right and wrong always carry different ideas. In Buddhism, we take right to be wholesome. It's a wholesome wholesome way, wholesome intention, wholesome speech. But to cut short, we say right. But don't think right. The English word right is some, you know what I mean? So it is more towards wholesome. Make sense? So let me ask from you, what is sammāvācā? Because otherwise we can't proceed if we don't know the what do you call the flow. What is sammāvācā? What is sammāvācā that you learned last Friday?
I thought that intention.
Yes. I mean, how did we describe that? What is the definition of sammāvācā?
Renunciation.
There are three, Bhante.
That is the definition. There are three ways to create sammāvācā. We know that it is right intention, but how do we create it? There are three ways. What are those three ways to create sammāvācā?
Renunciation, avayakpada, and avihimsa.
Right. So nekkamma means you gotta know the extreme levels of your karma. So you should be able to exit from the extreme levels of karma. Because as lay people, you can't leave karma, all karma, because there should be some healthy karmas where you are part of your family and your life, right? But not excessive karma, right? Not because that you can't enjoy excessive karma, but because excessive karma leads us to, chaos, right? So renunciation, intention. So like you enjoy. There are two ways to understand this, folks. One way is that you know the extreme levels. You have your own, third eye. Have a vibe that you know that. Not for me, No, I'm not going to go over from here. This is my limit probably. Second thing is that, although you enjoy, I would say, consume, use karmas, you know that ultimately these karmas, I will leave from these karmas. These karmas are subject to anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanence, dissatisfaction, and not self. Two ways to understand this karma thing, nekkamma intentions. Make sense? Knowing your own limits, it is not limit of X that we know the limit of Y, right? And the second way to understand nekkamma sankappa is renunciation in intention is to have this understanding that you enjoy, you use karma with an understanding, with a backup understanding that these will go away from you. These are subject to impermanence. These are subject to unhappiness one day. Maybe these are subject to not self, right? So you have that understanding, but you don't make it a problem to enjoy your karma, right? Now, one good example is Vishaka, the lady, the chief lady to the Buddha, right? The Daika. The Vishaka was she attained Sotapanna when she was 7 years old. And then she was a Sotapanna girl. Just imagine a 7 years old girl, right? High schooler probably, yeah? Probably. And then she married to a man when she was probably 16, 17 years old. She was a Sotapanna. How come a Sotapanna can marry somebody? Because a lot of people think that when you become Sotapanna, then you don't identify yourself. Yes, you do at the higher level. At the conventional level, you are trying to identify yourself because you are living a normal life. And then she got a lot of kids, and at the same time, she got a lot of grandchildren too, right? So what I'm saying is that try to understand the real context of karma, life of somebody who even started as a Sotapanna. And remember the hunter's wife, who is a Sotapanna. There was a hunter, his wife was a Sotapanna. So every day morning, when the hunter is going to work, she's the one who is preparing all these, hunter stuff, right? Hunting stuff. Those arrows. And somebody might question, hey, you're a Sotapanna lady. How come you're going to support your husband to kill animals? She was doing her job only. She has no thought of getting someone killed, kill animals or whoever. So there are very interesting stories. I'm not trying to say that enjoy karmas as much as you can. I'm telling you, have a limit. At the same time, there's no barrier because you know that karma is going to go through the anicca dukkha anatta process. All right. So nekkhamma. Nekkhamma means that whatever you enjoy in your life, you are going to put them in a place called you are able to renounce. You are able to let go all those karmas. That is what we understand by nekkhamma sankappa. Second is avyapada sankappa. Avyapada sankappa, intentions on non-ill will, right? So you are trying to create intentions of non-ill will. Ill will means thoughts of killing someone, destroying someone's life, destroying someone's character, right? It has a lot of things, right? It is attached to a lot of things, right? You might have felt when somebody is trying to assassinate your character in some places. If that happens to you, okay, see that person is always trying to talk bad about me, trying to destroy me. Why is that? Because that person has vyapada sankappa, intentions of killing someone, but not doing it physically, probably doing it in different ways. That is a very, very miccha, very bad intention. That person cannot, get to the path that we see in this Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Third good intention is avihimsa sankappa, intention on non-cruelty, or I would say not harassing anybody. Have you seen people who always want to pick on somebody, want to bully somebody? Have you seen such folks? Probably when you were going to school, when you were on the bus, when you're on the road. Maybe they have a bad day, right? Probably they had an argument with the wife, husband, other people, right? Maybe there are people who are naturally prone to pick on somebody. They have a problem, but they're going to pick on other people just to feel good, right? So Buddha said this is a miccha sankappa. This is a wrong intention. So you should always have an intention called protecting, giving comfort to others, right? Thoughts of giving comfort, thoughts of giving safety to others. That is the third, right, intention, right? Now, as you proceed your path from sammāditthi, because of sammāditthi, you are able to practice samma sankappa. Now, because you have samma sankappa, because you have right intentions, now what is going to be possible for you? Now you have the correct attitude, I would say correct view about life. And then because of that, you are coming up with right intentions. Then now what will be going to be okay for you with those intentions? You
Right
are putting those intentions into speech,
Right.
whatever the speech, maybe the wrong speech, maybe the right speech. But if you practice right intention, definitely you're going to use right speech. But if you get messed up at the level of sammāditthi, you wouldn't have samma sankappa. Right? If you messed up at the level of samma sankappa, you wouldn't have right speech. Now, let me show you our, the document that we are using. So then we will make ways to find the rest. Okay, this document, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. We did sensual indulgence, Kamasupallikāna Yoga, and then self-mortification, Atta-Kilamatthana Yoga. We come down to middle path, and then under the middle path, we have come over here, number 17 today. Number 17. Number 16 was last Friday. Number 15 probably a couple of weeks back. Okay, sammāvācā. The list goes down gradually. Samma Karmanta Ajivayam Pati Samadhi. We will discuss about sammāvācā, right speech. Okay. Speech. What is speech? Speech means verbal part, right? That's the verbal part. How does speech consist of spiritually from the Buddhist canon? You might say, I talk, so the words are coming out. They say, there is a better definition from the Buddhist suttas, Pali suttas. How do our words get created, constructed according to the Dhamma? Like I talk now, and you might reply to me now. So how do our words get constructed? What is the mechanism, spiritual mechanism, right? You might give me a scientific overview saying that, I have a brain and, there are neurotransmitters are working over here and, blah, blah, blah. But I'm trying to ask the spiritual mechanism behind our speech. Yeah.
Bhante, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
What does sadhu, sadhu, sadhu have to do with the construction of the speech?
I think it comes from our mind.
Come from the thought.
Yeah, our mind, our thought.
Now see the complications, the level of complications we might have, because we might not know the seeds of the speech. Yeah, but thank you though. Any other? Yeah, Sadhus? Can you please unmute?
Maybe if we practice to purify our mind and always do some thinking before we let go whatever it is. Whatever it is, do not offend, do not create any more problem that is already there. It's kind of control in a way.
Okay. Any others?
You see, form through feelings.
Feelings? That means feelings come first.
Yeah. If I feel angry, I speak angrily.
Okay. Great. Anybody else? It's a bit complicated question to many, yeah? How does speech come from? Where does speech come from? According to suttas. Okay, without further ado, let me say, in many Pali suttas, probably these suttas were not very known to you. It is said that words come from vitakka and vichara. Now you might stumble at these two words. Huh? Let me a little bit explain to you before I type that for you. Vitakka is a spiritual component, especially we call it a chaitasika, mental factor. Vitakka is the initial application of our mind about an object. Initial application. Let's say I see you now, all of you, and I have an initial application that is happening within my mind. That is vitakka. And then after my mind, which involves one of the sense faculties and the objects, and then the the individual sensory perception, sensory consciousness. Let's say if it is my eye, then chakku, and then the image is the rupa, and then chakku rupa get together, and then chakku viññāna is being constructed, right? This process. So like you can see the initial level and then the sustained, expanded level. So the Buddha says, vitakka is the initial level of our mind of an object, and with vichara, it's a sustained, expanded level of our mind about an object. So these two make up of the words speech. Is it true? Actually, without the involvement of our sense faculties, eye, ears, and then nose, tongue, body, mind, in whatever the way, because mind coordinates all the other rest of the sense faculties too. Without the involvement of these 6 or 5, mind cannot pick up any particular word, right?
Yeah.
Now, then again, the problem is, do we have a vocabulary? If you really want to talk good words, if you plan for a good right speech, let's say good speech or right speech here, how do we maintain it? Is it possible? Do we always have to carry a vocabulary, my own vocabulary, your own vocabulary? Is it easy? Is it sensible? Now, let's say today, from tonight, that means from tomorrow morning, I'm going to practice right speech. Let me make up my own good vocabulary, right? Is it possible to work? It might, but it is not practical, right? Then again, if you look at, I met some of the, what do you call it, real estate people, real estate guys, and let's say insurance brokers, probably life insurance guys, realtors. They think that all that they meet, in their life are potential customers, right? They might think so. They have their own ways of approaching us, right? You know what? Yeah, we have a good medical insurance. So would you like to, subscribe to our premium insurance package? So they are making their vocabulary all the time to approach anybody who don't seem to have an insurance, who don't seem to have a subscription to kind of a monthly premium or something. How does their right speech work? Can they use their right speech? Because their motive is to exist, sustain, their probably income, their life, right? So if you look at that way, there are a lot of issues in this society. What about the people who are advertising, doing marketing? Because you have to add different layers of the truth. Not the truth. There are different labels attached to probably the partial truth, showing this is the highest truth, right? So I think right speech, although it seems to be a very easy pick to us, but it is not going to be that easier unless we have a good mechanism to practice it, unless we have the proper structure in our mind to practice it. Number one, now vitakka vichara, that means initial application of the mind and the sustained application of the mind, they are the ones which make up the vacha, which means the speech. I can give you the sutta probably. I think Shula Vedala Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya. Okay. Let me type the words for you first. Vitakka. And vichara. Make up words or probably our speech. I can say Chula Vedalla Sutta Majjhima Nikaya. I can't remember the sutta number, you can look it up.
Bhante,
Great.
I think you're writing to Lim again, Brother Lim.
I don't think so. I just sent actually. Can you see? Everyone. I think I sent to everyone.
Yes, Bhante, we can see.
Yes,
Okay.
can see.
Yes, I'm mindful about it, Kim. I know what happened. Anyways, thank you for showing to me, good motivation. So yeah, so vitakka and vichara. So next time when somebody asks you, as a Buddhist, how do we know that I'm making my own speech? It is because of the combination of my vitakka and vichara. They are called mental factors. Now then we come down to another level where we talked about what you call initial difficulties of practicing right speech. Now, in Buddhism, we are always asked to practice one very important aspect of the right speech. What is that? Now, when you say right speech, it is a, truth. Yeah. That means to refrain from lying. This is what we always get to know. How do we put that into Pali? Your sila practice. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Is it refraining from lying? Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu miccāchāra veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramere majjhimādāttana. Which one talks about the lying part, refraining from lying part? A very basic, childlike question.
Musāvādā.
Musāvādā, right? Musāvādā. Musa means what you call untrue speech, right? But we have a different section to talk about this, in our discussion. But Buddhism also talks about what is more important is sometimes not even the truth, but also the benefit of the particular thing. Sometimes there are truths, but once we spoken of the truth, there are commotions, fights happening. Why is it? Because we don't know where to speak that truth, when to say that truth. That means it is not always the truth. Truth plus understanding of WH part, when, where, how, whom, who. All these questions are attached to the truth part. But the people who take it only from the partial aspect of the truth, they only think, okay, this is true, whoever tells me anything, I'm going to say the truth. Right? The Buddha says, it is not a good approach. Sometimes you're going to say something, somebody else going to attack somebody else at the same time. You are letting other people to harm other people. So I'll be very careful. Always think, when I say this thing, what will happen at that time? Will this cause any harm to somebody? I have a very, old example, which I say. Somebody is following somebody else on the road to attack, right? And then this person who is vulnerable is trying to stop at a house and then knock the house and then told the owner of the house, someone is following me, is going to harm me. Can you please help me? Then he says, yeah, okay, I'm gonna let you in. Yeah, so that's the first part. But the attacker also noticed what happened. So he also found out the proper house, the right house. And then he asked the owner, did someone like this come into your house? What if he is going to say this way? Yeah, I never told a false thing. I was always truthful. Yes, he came in. I asked him to go underneath the bed. What's going to happen now? What's going to happen to that truthful person? And he's going to attack that person. That is why we have to always understand how to deliver the truth. Delivering the truth is not just giving it to somebody. Delivering part involves WH questions. How, when, where, whom, who, all these questions. So we have to always take care of every being as much as possible, unless you are putting you at risk, right? You should not take a risk. Other than that, you are going to protect. So it is Dhamma friendly. It is not Dhamma unfriendly, because as Buddhists, we have no right to kill somebody. We have no right to support someone to hurt somebody, right? But there may be people, this is Buddha, you don't touch the Buddha, right? I'm gonna, right? There might be people like that, gonna take care of Buddhism in a defensive way to, probably hurtful. In Buddhism, we are always trying to help, support, take care of any being, be that an animal or a human, right? And we are trying to make the best choice at the situation. So when we talk about speech, the first thing that comes to our mind is musāvācā, refraining from musāvācā. And I think this is the, if you look at this, what you call the verbal part, this is the source of many people's evil actions, I would say. It is not pāṇātippāta, adinādāna. There are a lot of good people who are not trying to do anything wrong to other people, not stealing. But the problem is the musāvācā, the speech part. If you look at issues at homes, problems at homes, difficulties at work, it is because of verbal disputes. You know, somebody said bad about me and I'm going to say the same thing to that person. Revenge, it kind of leads to a lot of other issues. And political guys, you know, political system is always with the words, right? False promises, cheating between partners. They all go by the verbal part more than the actual physical part, right? So that means we have to, understand the weight, the severity of this aspect of our wholesome life, right? Which means speech is a big part. And in one of the probably suttas, Buddha says, everyone who is harming other people with their speech have a sort of a knife in their mouth. That is none other than speaking false things to other people. Right? Buddha says it is a weapon. It can kill other people. Right? So speech is very important in that context. Not only those aspects, have you ever noticed that the Buddha's original way of disseminating Dhamma is not by exporting them into the books, Dhamma into the books, right? Buddha never wanted to, actually writing structure was not available at that time, but especially into the books. But when, you know, Buddha's main way of disseminating Dhamma is through the speech. That is why he says, when he is teaching Dhamma, there are many people who attain Nibbana, at least attain Sotapanna at the end of the talk. How come, without even looking at the Dhamma script, a book, online talk, a textual thing, somebody is going to attain Sotapanna at the end of the talk? Now, don't be disheartened, because I'm trying to say, books really give us a lot of meaning, because we are not comfortable sometimes, because we are not having access to the original Buddha now. But we have to filter out information we learn, right? Otherwise, we will de-emphasize the most important aspects of the Buddha. So I'm saying that if many people attain Nibbana or at least Sotapanna just by listening to a talk, that means speech is very powerful. That's very powerful. When you see a lot of people going to retreats to meditate, right? They try to focus on themselves, they try to take time to reflect on oneself. When you see those events, even when we are also doing such things, we might think, how come these people were so eligible? They were able to attain Sotapanna just by listening to a talk. It is because they have done enough good karmas in their past lives, and also they were paying attention to the talk by reflecting their life. Right? Because everyone is trying to understand Dhamma in their own, through their own life at a different pace. Right? Regardless of the speed, the pace, the most important thing is whether we are bringing Dhamma to the right scenario of our life. Because if you look at Rajumala, the lady who is going to take her life by putting a rope, Buddha never said about anicca dukkha anatta, right? And she didn't take her life. She understood. Patachara is a different incident. The Buddha said only one word when she came to temple being naked. The lay people were trying to blame her. She was mentally sick because her husband passed away, her 2 children were killed, her mother, father were burnt alive. She has no mind to put a cloth on. Buddha said only one thing, sister, please be mindful. That's it. And she understood it. See that mind. Now, how many times we say to people, be mindful? Is this going to work to many people? Right? So it's different, the way people look at it. Patachara looked at those 3 words, please be mindful, through her life, through her extremely painful, sad life. So we have to bring Dhamma to our own life to see that. So speech is very, very important, right? Yeah, so with that in mind, let's slowly move on to our, right speech context. What is right speech? So according to the Noble Eightfold Path, right speech includes 4 types of speeches. What are they? Musāvācā, refraining from musāvācā, refraining from
Harsh
Yeah.
speech.
Harsh words.
Let's go in order. Refraining from musāvācā, then second, refraining from musāvācā, pisunāvācā, refraining from divisive speech. Okay. Let's forget about slandering and backbiting, talking behind the back, but I mean, ultimately what is happening is you divide people. So divisive speech, refraining from divisive speech, pisunāvācā. Parusāvācā, refraining from harsh speech. Harsh speech. Then the 4th one is refraining from sammāvācā. That means from, what is sammāvācā? Frivolous talk. It's also a very complicated area because what is frivolous and what is not frivolous. We can talk about it. Okay, so let's start from musāvācā. Musāvācā. Now we already discussed a little bit of that. Musāvācā veramani, which means refraining from musāvācā does not simply mean you talk the truth all the time. As I mentioned earlier, truth has to be followed with beneficial aspect. Beneficial aspect is very important because because you have to always understand, because the truth can come in different ways. Your family matters, your work matters. Nobody's going to talk tell lies in terms of the spirituality, right? Nobody has those issues. When we talk about the life, when we talk about our Nibbanic path, Dhamma, nobody is going to tell lies unless they are having a wrong understanding about it. Like they are not properly learned about the Dhamma. They might tell lies. But other than that, everybody is very careful before talking Dhamma. But how about other situations? Your house, when you are dealing with your house people, right? When you are dealing with your work people, when you are dealing with the people on the road, when you are dealing with the people in a merchandise, are we really trying to understand how does truth work in those places? That is a question, right? So truth always has to be said with a proper understanding. What will this bring? Does that mean when truth cannot be delivered, is it okay to lie? When truth cannot be delivered, is it okay to lie? It depends. We are not going to tell a lie, but we make sure everyone is okay. Everyone's life is protected, is safe. Make sure that everything is okay, right? And maybe it is not the opportunity to say that truth. Maybe, right? There are certain occasions in our life, some circumstances, that we should not tell the truth at that time, right? We take time, huh? we take some time. We take some time, and then you are thinking, one day I'm going to tell this person. It's not just to cheat that person. I want to protect the safety, the union, harmony between two people or among men, right? Let's say someone comes to your temple, but with a disruptive behavior, not very noticeable, right? Now, everybody sees that this is not a good thing, the temple, right? So you are gonna tell this right away, right? You take time, or you are looking at the best way to deliver this. We are not trying to, respond to someone right away for that, because situation might get escalated, So we have to understand how to deliver the truth. So when you think about telling the truth, it is not always telling the naked truth. We are supposed to talk the truth all the time, but they all depend on the situation also. Situation matters. So please take situation into your consideration all the time, right? Just mere telling the truth is not going to be spiritual, Buddhist. That might have different things, right?
Yeah.
Now, what about, I'm gonna connect chanting to this part. What is chanting? You go to temple, you listen. Chanting is, we call it as the highest truth, right? We don't see any lies within the chanting, right? So chanting has the context of the chanting is always what you call
Truthful.
Truthful. That is why it is said etena saccavajjena. By the power of the truthful assertion, saccavajjena. Hotu te jayamangala. May you be well and happy. Etena saccavajjena dukkha upasame. Dukkha upasame. May your sufferings go away. Bhaya upasame. May your fears go away. Roga upasame. May your sicknesses go away. From what? By the truthful assertion. Sacca means truthful, vajja means words. Now you understand chanting is always going to be truthful, right? It's a truthful case. Remember that story, I think I shared with you a long time ago. There was a couple, I think this is mentioned in the Khuddaka Nikaya, one of the Khuddaka Nikaya books. They have a newly born child, baby, I would say. They were thinking, we're going to bring our newly born baby to the ascetic in the mountain. So now they rush. Now they were bringing the baby to the mountain, probably the top of the mountain. On the way, they stopped at a certain place. What happened was that there was a cobra who attacked their baby, right? And then now they were really, depressed. So now they don't know what to do. They did some informal stuff. So they rushed to the top of the hermitage where the ascetic was living. And then they said, dear Reverend or whoever, we were coming to see you, and this is what happened. A cobra attacked our baby. Can you please heal our baby? Right? So, you know what the ascetic did? He did an asseveration. Saccakiriya. Saccakiriya. The monks also do the saccakiriya. When you go to temple, they give you a, I don't know how it is happening in many places. They give you a thread and you are holding it, or you are probably putting your palms together. So what they are doing is that they are trying to maybe chant. At that time, they had a different practice, even among the ascetics. They were not always chanting the Buddhist text. Now, this was an ascetic. What he was doing is that whatever the truthful things he had in his life. So he said to the couple, you know what? I only practice my, the monkhood for 15 years. So by the power of my immaculate, the correct practice that I have been doing for 15 years, may your baby be healed from this snake bite. And then what happened was that it is said the snake poison from the head came down to the chest area. And then he said to the couple, I can't do anymore. This is the highest thing I can do for you. My chanting only helped poison to come from the head to the chest. Now it is up to you. Then they asked, what can we do? Do an asseveration based on your life, right? And then, okay, I'm going to do something. The man said to the ascetic, okay, so I have no anger. I have no dosa towards the snake who attacked my baby. Maybe this was a haphazard, random thing. And then what happened? It is said, the poison came down from the chest to the thigh area. Let's say the leg. Still, it is not enough for the poison to go out from the whole body, right? Then he asked, okay, it's your chance, to the wife. And then she said something a little bizarre. She said, ever since I married this guy, I haven't loved him to the fullest of myself, right? And then the whole poison, it is said that it went up. Actually, it is true, because it's true. Everybody, what they said, they were true, right? Even people who done bad things, wrong things also, they can think about it, because they are truthful things. They were real, right? Because so we take the chanting part, asseveration of chanting, or chanting part as a truthful, being truthful to the context of the right speech. But in your day-to-day life, you can't practice right speech in that way, especially with the refraining from the lying part. I always ask, is it possible for us to have a certain vocabulary? Even when the worst person comes to you and say bad things to you, are you able to only pick one of the words from that vocabulary, that dictionary, in your own civilized dictionary? Is it possible for you? Let's say someone is coming to you, pick on you, bullying you. Are you able to hang on to your that particular civilized vocabulary? Or are you getting mad and go crazy and so and so? How things are going to happen at that point? Is it possible to only depend on a certain vocabulary and then practice your speech, especially the right speech here? Anybody wants to add anything? You need to be honest in order to practice Dhamma very well. If you are not going to be honest, you'll never practice the Dhamma.
Bhante,
yeah, go ahead.
not easy.
Hanging on to staying true to your vocabulary. If you have, yes.
No, I'm saying it's not easy.
Generally, okay, the whole thing.
So I will also show my anger and speak bad.
Yes.
Speak.
You are not alone, Kim. Most of the people in this world, they are vulnerable, helpless. That is why we are learning Dhamma, because we want to learn the mechanism to counter these issues, right?
Yeah.
Tisilim, I think you mentioned about the noble silence. That is a very good practice if you could do. But then this will further provocate the attack. See, I've been telling so many things. You are not concerned about any of those things. They might accelerate, they might not accelerate, but it's a very good practice. Noble silence too. But basically speaking, right speech is a hard practice, even when it comes to the musāvācā.
So how, Bhante?
I'm going to explain to you, as the discussion is going to be unpacked, but this is just to ask you, upfront, what's happening. Okay, let's go further here. Musāvācā is such. So we are not supposed to tell a lie, but we are trying to be truthful depending on the situation, circumstances, and we should know our own way to tell the truth depending on the time, circumstance, individual, and all that. Second is the sammāvācā. Pisunāvācā means refraining from the divisive speech. Is it a problem? Divisive speech? Why do I call it divisive speech? When some people talk, they divide two people.
Others.
Others, two other people. They divide two countries. They divide two cultures. They divide a lot of things. Now, we are not talking about those massive, loftiest concepts of divisions. We are talking about family, let's say family, friends, and those kind of stuff, right? That means they are not very careful when they talk about it. If you are careful, take a moment of time. I'm going to talk about this. What will happen if I talk this thing? Are my friends going to be in, problem? Are they going to talk bad about each other? It's it's being wise, right? You understand what you are going to talk about. So every word that you're going to use should help to bring people together, bring two enemies together, bring two, good people together. Keep the harmony. You can't do that without knowing what will happen if I use this X, Y, C words, ABC words. So that means bit of patience. You need a bit of patience. You need a bit of wisdom about what you're going to use, right? Any examples that we know in our Buddhist
How about
history?
Bhante?
Yeah.
How about from what I understand, in Buddhism, mindfulness is very, very important because it covers almost everything. Our speech, our this, our that, all. If we practice mindfulness, the chances of we doing wrong things is a bit lesser.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, sati is very important because sati means that if you don't understand what you are doing, I mean, that involves sati, mindfulness, but then it needs further actions also, sati, then sampajanya means full awareness, then only we can respond to anybody well without reacting. Now, what we are doing all the time is reactions. They are on autopilot. Our reactions are on autopilot. Like when somebody hits, I'm going to hit. Somebody talks bad, I'm going to do that. Those are reactions. They are not responses. We have to bring responses. If you want to bring responses, that is Buddhist way, then you have to bring your mindfulness, bring your full awareness, and then to look at what am I going to do now? I should not hit back. I should not talk back now, right? So if you look at that way, a lot of problems can be minimized, right? One big issue is that we are maintaining a high ego. That is why we get hurt very fast. I'm a very good person. I'm a very accepted person. How come you talk like that to me? Because even the criticism or blames are directed normally at that ego. That is why you get very upset about it. And plus in this society, the societal norm is that telling us to find out who is the culprit. Whether you are right or wrong, this is the societal norm. We don't have any other third option, right? If you go to the road, who is right? Who is driving right? Who is driving wrong? If you at work, who is working right? Who is working wrong? Right? It is always right and wrong competition. So it kind of damages our spirituality. I mean, let it be. Let that right and wrong be. It's okay. But you should look at the third option. Third option is that I'm trying to look at these right and wrong versions from a different version too, right? So as you said, yes, sati is very important. But sati alone does not make sense. Sati is just to understand what is happening. Then you have to bring sampajanya. Sati sampajanya go together according to Satipatthana Sutta, right? Okay, all right. So divisive speech, Pisunāvācā is very destructive to all of us, right? Have you ever got complimented by other people? Oh, you are such a good person. You saved us. There was gonna be a big mess, but you saved us, right? You really use the proper wording when you're talking on the stage. When you were talking at that time, you really saved us. You're such a very wise person. Have you ever got that kind of compliment? You are a lucky person if you got that. Because you know you know how to respond. If not, you have to go listen to the back, what do you call? The backstage, what they are talking about you. Just say what he or she wants to say. See what's happening. It's a big mess here now. Who is going to solve this issue? Nobody is here, right? So, such people are called wise people. Remember the story in the, what is that story? It's a Jataka story. It is called the, probably Sattubhatta Jataka, probably, yeah? It's my knowledge. Sattubhatta Jataka story. Don't be worried about the name. In this story, there was a man who is bringing a bag, let's say let's say a bag, he is now carrying his own bag. While he put his bag somewhere, place the bag somewhere, again a snake went inside the bag. So there was a tree spirit, a deva, in one of the trees. He said something to him just to help him. He said, if you stop on the way, you're gonna die. If you go home, your wife is gonna die. He doesn't know what is this. He's so confused about it. If I stop on the way, I'm gonna die. If I go home, my wife is gonna die. What is this? So he saw some Brahmins on the way. They were listening to one person. Many people were listening. He thought this could be a wise man. Actually, it was Bodhisattva, Gautama Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha. Then he said, Lord, I was told by a tree spirit Deva, Rukka Deva, that if I stop on the way, I'm going to die. If I go home, my wife is going to die. I don't know how to disentangle this issue. Then he said, he asked one of the Brahmins, can you grab a stick and just give a tap to the bag over there? Then the snake came out, right? So the people were actually always admiring the wise people, although they haven't attained Nibbana. We need wise people who always think and talk, not talk and think. There are people talk. How did I say that? Wait. It's too late now, Everybody is hurt over there, right? They say, how come I said that? Now you're in the bed now. You're thinking about what happened during the day. Right? So divisive speech, I always try to think about, do I harmonize people? Do I bring people together anywhere in your life? That is very, very important in your right speech. Any question about it? Pisunāvācā. Now, I actually sometimes translate this to be talking behind the back, which is not pretty comprehensive. Or carrying tales, slandering. These are old Protestant Buddhist translations. They are not going to work, right? It's like Silabbata Paramas. The Protestant translation is that the clinging to rites and rituals, not saying you are practicing sila in the wrong way, right? So a better way to say is that refraining from divisive speech. Okay, let's go to the third one. Parusāvācā. Refraining from Parusāvācā. What is Parusāvācā? Let me ask you. Parusāvācā.
Is it harsh speech?
Sorry?
Is it harsh speech? Harsh.
Harsh speech. Okay, how do we understand the harsh speech in our life?
Very hurting or very hard on the person. Hurting.
Okay. Any other ways to understand it? So now you may have your own ways to look at, base, vulgar, right? Cursing people out, right? Swearing. Like you look at the two aspects of many people's explaining, elaborating things. For example, I would say, this person sabotaged me. So, I can reconcile myself. Those kind of expressions about people, especially like he or she sabotaged me, my life, and he misused me, right? So I have to talk bad about somebody, right? So there are a lot of people who are trying to justify what you call such things. Let me ask you a question. If you were hurt, how, as a Buddhist, should you respond to that event or the person? What is the basic way to respond? If you were hurt, if you were misused by somebody? That's a good question. That is where one of the sources of harsh speech start from. Okay, Kim? Yeah. Yeah. Did I miss anything like in writing over here? Kim, you have anything to ask? Yeah, please ask.
No, because you were asking us, Bhante, the points, right? Point number 1, number 2, and number 3. So
Okay.
I didn't quite get that.
Okay. So the first one is refraining. Let me write that for you. Refraining from musavada. I would say lying. That's pretty easy to understand. Then that's number 1. Number 2 is refraining from divisive speech. That means sammāvācā. Number 3 is what we are discussing now, refraining from what do you call the harsh speech. That means parusavācā. The last one to discuss after this is refraining from frivolous talk. So please check with the grammar sometimes if I make a mistake. Yeah. Sammāvācā. That's the last one. Palapa. Okay, so these are the right speech. So we discussed already the first one, second one, now third one. Parusavācā. All right. So if you are done writing, taking it down, how are we supposed to respond to someone who whom we have been used, probably who have used us, misused us probably in our life? Is it by, kind of an extended question, but we may have lots of anger about that, somebody, particular event. Are we supposed to talk swear words? Are we supposed to curse? Can a Buddhist curse anybody out? That's a good question.
No, not possible.
Not possible. So as Buddhists, we can't curse anybody out. Can we swear anybody? Same answer. But do people do that? Although, do some?
Yes.
But the problem is, Bhante, although we didn't swear it out, but sometimes it pop up in the mind. So actually, we need to look at control the mind.
Yeah,
by practicing it again and again.
It's like yeah, Sadis.
Like you
Sometimes,
say, as a Buddhist, how do we respond? How about, I know it's not easy, but when somebody been harsh or whatever it is to us, we just chill out, try to slowly breathe in and breathe out and not get offended by the foolish person who used all that word. At the same time, you tell yourself, I'm not going to be as foolish as he is, that he has provoked me to do something which I don't want to do.
Yeah, that's a great way. At the same time, now more than the particular response, we are kind of more focusing on the speech part when we deal with somebody who have done some, destruction to us, harm to us. So cursing, swearing, I think these are autopilot stuff, automatic stuff to many. It's like the racism in the West, right? They always talk about racism, you can't just say, XYZ thing. But when somebody is so mad, the automatic words that come out of the mouth is that, oh, XYZ is like that. Go back to your home country. Go back to your home country. Right? And then people question about it. How did you come over here? Right? They're pretty good people, but when they lose their temper, that come out. Right? That's why people believe like when somebody's angry, what they say is really important to us. Some people say like that, right? When people are getting so angry and at the time of being angry, if they say anything, that could be, something more substantial, right?
Yes,
Bhante.
one more thing, we can try to understand the person who do all the harsh words and do the bad things to us, he himself have more problem than what you have, no?
Yeah, that is a good way to understand their
So try to chill out,
action.
not to respond right away.
Yes,
Keep
that
it
is a very
cool and find a way to just avoid and not to create anymore.
Yeah. Now, actually, most of us are trying to do something if we have any issue, but we are mostly talking about why people are supposed to, why people are actually driven to curse out, swear. Is it because it is automatic? Yes, for the most part, it is automatic. Probably they think that maybe one of the things that their ego, they think my ego is attacked by somebody, so I have to unleash on that person's the second source. Third source is some people just like to talk such, Probably their way of talking is not that civilized, probably, So they are not actually very mindful about what they talk, right? So as Buddhists, we have a responsibility to take care of the kind of the words. Now, actually, we could use another translation for this, refraining from the strong language, right? Strong language. But sometimes you may need the strong language. If you are a teacher, you have to talk a bit louder to the students. If you are an orator, if you are a speaker, you may have to, right? But it doesn't mean that you can use any strong words against anybody, right? So as Buddhists, we must make sure what we call the intensity and the nature of our words are really going to be soft and acceptable, civilized to ourselves and to other people. Let's talk about something interesting about how Buddha handled somebody who really blamed him with a lot of bad words. Brother Wu, you have any question?
I want to explain this harsh speech. Sometimes harsh speech is used by the teacher, very harsh, but the words are not the vulgar words, no. Only the tone is very harsh, the face very angry, the tone very loud. So the student get frightened. He's a good teacher. He wants you to improve. But the way he speaks and the way he sounds quite frightening.
Yeah.
So that is harsh speech, but positive, Bhante, this positive harsh speech.
That is one example that we saw in the teaching system in the last couple of decades, probably in the last half century, I would say. But now I think in the educational pedagogy, they are not, I think, promoting that idea, probably the new system. Now at that time, even teachers hit students. 20, 30, 40 years back, they hit, they spank. But now it is a problem. That worked, Brother Wu, that worked at that time. But now, because of these, different rights, probably the development, different sciences, educational sciences, I think they have come to certain areas of not spanking, not hitting, because it can hurt, it can give them different, mindsets. So probably they are using different other alternative ways to, try to give them pressure in a better way, so that they are self-driven, they're self-motivated. Like, for example, in our time and in your time, particularly, you are not even, entitled to knowing the internet or sending an email.
Yeah.
Today's world, even probably a young person, probably a boy, girl, below 10 years old, they have to use the internet. It's a different world. But your example is a good example. There are moments where we see that the tone, not the length of the word, not the nature of the words, but the tone was a little harsh.
The tone is harsh.
Actually, this is also the same problem between men. Like in some households, they are not talking harsh word, but somebody's tone is a little higher today. So people getting a little upset about, why is this? Is something going wrong today? Something happened to this person. So I think tone, we have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Raising our tone is sometimes taken a bad, uncivilized thing in some place in today's world too. But it may be used in certain different fields to, keep the harmony also in different ways. But for us, what we are learning is something general, something generic. So let's try to bring down our tone. We don't want to make any chaos to anybody, saying that I'm going to do something to you, something like that. So we're going to bring down our tone. We're going to really be careful about our words. Are they culturally sensitive? Are they really, let's say, Dhamma friendly, right? And then we're going to practice our, right speech, true, not using the harsh words. And the last one, what is it? Refraining from sammāvācā. You can see the Pali one here. Fourth one, refraining from frivolous talk. Now, Bhikkhu Bodhi translates this to be a pointless talk. Now, the problem is, how do we know the point? This is a little difficult for us. What is the point here? Yeah, gossiping, idle chatting, there are many meanings. But the problem is, how do we know the point? How do we? No, he's a very good translator, but here the pointless talk is that what is our point? So we normally take frivolous talk to be words, I would say the speech that is really Dhamma unfriendly, right? Now, one of the things is the gossiping. Some people might take gossiping as a way of socializing.
Right? Yes.
They might think, like, let's say, even when some people go to the temple, they are going to be very peaceful till the events, food time is coming up. They are going to be very peaceful. But once the food time comes up, they're going to be gossiping a lot, everything, right? Some people. So the problem is that, well, we need to socialize. There's no harm to be socialized. If you are not trying to bring harm to you, to other people, it is okay. But the problem is, are you really wasting your precious time for your spiritual path? That can be a bit problematic thing, right? So we should not waste our precious time. But I know that this is not easier than I say. Let's go to the practical side. Not easier than I said, because at right time you may have to, like, let's say you go to an event, you have friends coming over, right? You can't just say, I'm practicing sammāvācā today, don't come to me, don't talk to me, no party, no drinking, nothing. Really? What happened to you today? Right? So, because I'm good, it doesn't mean other people also have to be the same, right? I always say that you have to work out on your own right speech. So you don't try to control other people's speech. You just try to be a good person to other person. But there are people who trying to be good and trying to say to other people, you should be also good. That might not work initially because people are differently good, right? So how do we understand, how do we use, how do we actually refrain from frivolous talk? We should try to minimize unnecessary conversation. I would say non-virtuous conversation as much as possible. But I do understand there are times that you cannot avoid people, your friends, because you might think it is not polite not to talk to them. It's not polite just to walk away from them, right? But you always try to minimize that time. Is that a very sensible, practical idea? Rather than saying, hey, walk away from everybody. This is how I'm practicing sammāvācā. How do we understand sammāvācā Veramani?
Sometimes, Bhante, people like me, I'm retired, nothing to do whole day. I also cannot practice Dhamma 24 hours. Correct or not? So sometimes I go to coffee shop, go and see my friend, spend 1 or 2 hours talking nonsense. So that is frivolous talk. But if I don't do that, at home also I didn't practice so much. I suppose we cannot do all the time, isn't it? So sometimes we go and talk nonsense and keep with the friends.
I think that's a very excellent point here. I think this practice of not using frivolous talk depends on your probably your period of your time also. I mean, probably your age too. Let's say if you look at a boy or a girl, the way how they are just spending the day. If you look at a young person, young adult, middle-aged person, and then a senior person, and other people, right? The way how they spend the day and with what kind of people, all those are factors to understand how best I'm going to practice. Now, in your case, if you are not going to be socializing, everything is going to be boring to you, not even Dhamma, right? Definitely. Yes. That's why you go to the
some distraction sometimes.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So my suggestion is that if you know what is frivolous talk, you are good to go to the coffee shop.
Minimize it.
You're good to talk to these people. Yes. So
Brother Wu, what sort of friends are you with? Are they Dharma friends or gossipers or?
I don't know. Sometimes sometimes are Dhamma friends like me also. We also practice, but we also have to need to socialize. So sometimes when together we don't always talk about Dhamma. So sometimes we also talk jokes. That makes me another point, Bhante. When we follow this number 4, people will think Buddhists have no sense of humor. Cannot joke, cannot laugh, very serious.
Yes. Brother Wu, I think you are again making a very good point. As I said earlier, this has to be practiced according to the place, your age, probably your time, what you are doing. It is not that I'm only
all the time.
I'm only talking about Dhamma, otherwise I'm going to walk away. That's going to be very unwise move. That is not going to be working for you, because we have to practice all these things according to time. But let me warn you about something. Let's say you go to the coffee shop. Let's say you be in touch with those people. If you don't understand frivolous stuff in those conversations, if you don't have a particular limit for those conversations, you don't try to implement your, what you call, a certain limit of these kind of conversations, that might not work for you. Just because you want to be with them for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours in the coffee shop, you might lose precious time. Let's say you set aside a certain time just because you want something different, and you move up to the next thing. Other than that, all these things we practice in the way how society works, how things work for us.
Bhante, from what I see, it's okay to gossip and it's okay to talk, but be mindful not to encourage others to use the gossip to hurt somebody or to instigate or create problem. So if there is a friend saying this sort of thing, we, if possible, politely tell him, hey, please don't do this sort of thing, you know. So how about if somebody talk to you? So, you know, I make some adjustment. You can talk anything you like, but don't hurt anyone by, you
And
know,
the
pointing
and
someone.
the other thing is that how do we know it is gossip that we are talking?
Obviously, clear cut when they start pointing a finger, they start pointing finger, look at the fella, the dressing, how fat he is, and compare this and
Yeah,
all
that's
this
the
sort of thing.
problem. Yeah, no, I think in some places there may be people who are not apparently talking gossip. Probably they are talking, let's say somebody goes to a coffee shop, they're talking some spiritual, some valuable conversations. Never know. It depends on the person you are meeting with, right? So it depends. But in the worst case, as Sadhguru said, you know, I can't say that gossiping is okay as a monk here, but I can just say, you know, the way how things are going unfolding here, that if you know your limit, if you know where you're going to stop, right? And if you're not going to harm anybody, things should be okay. So anybody else here who have not said anything? Kelvin, Hema, anything else you want to add? Other than that, we can go to the conclusion today.
But Bhante, sometime okay, say if we talk about the politics or the economy or something like that, it's like updating each other's the news rather. Is it a gossip?
No, those are citizens' rights and citizens' responsibilities of a country. But unless you are going to be extreme on that, you know, you're looking for democracy, you're looking for a harmful peace, sorry, for a harmonious, peaceful, developed. It's okay, but you know your limit. You should know your limit. Not trying to pick on certain politicians and talk bad about those people and all that, right? So you may have your own criticism, but you should understand where to stop, right? Your limit, the moderation.
It's just a general topic to talk about this present situation or what. So do we really see it as a gossip or just shut up and don't talk about it?
Well, it depends on how you're going to talk about it. Now, for example, when the monks come to see the Buddha in all these Pali Suttas, what did he ask from the monk? How are you? Sometimes he asks, what did you talk before I come here? Sometimes, if there was a rain going on, he asked, did you get caught up with the rain on the way? Asking about the weather is no problem. Like, this is what they're asking. How's the weather over here in Kuala Lumpur, in Singapore, in Colombo, right? You know, weather, probably, how are you doing? Those are pretty harmless, non-gossiping stuff. I think you can have a very lengthy conversation about those kind of stuff. Probably the weather, probably your health, right? Not asking too much personal questions about their life. So we can, I think the context of the gossiping can be leveraged to a very pleasant, very fruitful conversation if you really know what to talk.
Yeah, I can see that. Something that is, you know, not adding too much salt and sugar into it.
Yes. We need to spice it up rather than knowing the limits. We can conclude this by finding a plan how to probably respond to someone who's attacking us. One example is Akkosaka Bharadwaja Brahmina. His name was Akkosaka Bharadwaj. Let me write you. Akkosaka Bharadwaj. Akkosaka means actually he is always blaming other people. Bharadwaja is his Brahmin lineage. I think this is a very famous story, all of you know. Just to cut it short, he wanted to blame the Buddha. So he came to see the Buddha and started blaming him. Buddha never said any single word. Can you practice that? When somebody is blaming you for the whole 10, 20, 30 minutes, can you just be quiet? That is not a normal nature of somebody. There may be very, sometimes there are people who are not even Buddhist, who are very patient. Even among some animals are reacting very fast. Some animals are just being quiet. So that means this is not just a what you call a quality of humans also. It depends. So then once the Buddha felt that he stopped on his own, the Buddha asked, are you done with your blames? He said, yes. He's an intelligent Brahmin, but he had a problem of blaming other people. Then the Buddha asked, can I ask you some questions? He said, okay. Do visitors show up in your house, come to your house? I'm a very good person. I normally serve everybody with some sweets, all that. I'm a very, okay, good. So do you normally serve them with a lot of things? He said, yes, too. And then the Buddha asked a question. How about if they're going to decline, refuse eating those sweets kind of stuff? Then he said, it's okay. Because once they leave the house, we're going to eat those sweets. Okay. So you gave me a nice treat today. I'm not willing to accept your treat today. So can you please take it back? Now, this is how the Buddha responded to someone who was very angry. Now, the problem here is that, is this practical to us in our life? Do we still consider this is to be a practical example? It depends on the person who's attacking us. But the bottom line is that what the Buddha telling us is that do not try to hit back anybody right away. Depending on the situation, sometimes you might have to do some defensive stuff. Yes, you are supposed to do even legally, but you are not supposed to do the same thing to that person because that is un-Buddhist, right? That is very important to think about. Actually, this is, I don't want to mention XYZ religions. If you look at all the other religions that we know today, they have their own ways of responding to any crisis. Okay, spiritual traditions. But Buddhism explicitly says that you cannot hit back. Pretty non-violent. Hardcore non-violent, right? So now there may be some problems when it is taken with the traditional cultural points of view, like in Burma, Sri Lanka, like people try to, Thailand also. But as a way of teaching, Buddha never recommends to respond in the same way, unless it is good. Let's say somebody donates something to me, offers something, I'm thinking to offer back in two, like double, triple, quadruple ways. That is how the Buddha asks us to pay back, right? So that's a very good example of how to handle somebody who is really mad and bad in their right speech. The speech, they don't have the right speech. So right speech as a whole is really the source of right intention. If you don't have right intention, sammāvācā, you will definitely make mistakes with your right speech. Now, somebody, like all of you might think that in your life, if you think right speech that I discussed today is going to be difficult to you, that means you don't have right sankappa all the time. So develop your right sankappa, right? If you think you already have right sankappa, if you cannot practice right sankappa, that means you don't have right view, sammāvācā. I got a question here, Adriana. Can we just walk away? Yeah, for some people, this might work. Yes. This is going to, like T.C. Lim said about noble silence, this is also going to work for some people. So practicing noble silence, being silent or walking away, they are also good options. But sometimes you may not be able to practice those two options. Right? At that time, you have to really engage with the person. It depends on the person. So the best thing is that not to create enemies. That's the hardcore truth. Do not create enemies anywhere in this world. So you are good.
But Bhante, can I ask, when we know if it's not the truth, should we really face on to explain or to explain the truth? But I mean, we can see it's not it is not the truth, when I can see it's not the truth, so do I just walk away, or do I continue to let gradually the patient, to let the person see the truth?
Well, we are not struggling with the truth anyway. What is more important to us is the safety of everybody. That's number one. We are not just a TV channel like a CNN, BBC, just to air the news everywhere, whoever wants to just take it. What we are doing with the truth in Buddhism is that we have to make sure what we talk and how it impacts other people, right? Maybe it is the hardcore truth, but once you said that, delivered that, there are a lot of fights, commotions, even the massacres also can happen. A lot of fights. So we are more focused on that. Let's say, with whatever the truth I'm supposed to say cannot be delivered at that time. So I'm going to just, maybe I'm just going to be silent. Maybe I'm going to walk away, but I should put something in my mind. One day at the right time, I'm going to tell the truth.
Yeah.
That's very
That
good.
would be the best way to behave, act. So you are not lying. You are not causing a situation for someone to do a crime. You are not causing a situation to people to be divided. But you are managing all these situations.
Thank you, Bhante. It's true.
Thank you. Yeah, different things, kindness, harmony, they are more important. Yes, that's right. Okay, so before we finish up, are there any more questions from somebody who hasn't been asked any question? Other than that, we're going to transfer the merits.
Sammāvācā.
It's a very, very lengthy, I would say, very big, what you call, very massive topic. But I didn't want to touch all these areas. I only wanted to show you how it is connected to sammāditi. If you have sammāditi, definitely you are going to make sammāsankappa. If you have sammāsankappa, you are definitely going to create sammāvācā. If you say you cannot practice sammāvācā, that is because you don't have sammāsankappa, right intentions. If you say you cannot practice right intention, it's because you don't have sammāditi. So they are always circling around. They are always navigated together. They are always, practiced together. You cannot just distance one practice of one path factor, practice of one path factor from the other path factor. All right, seems.
Bhante, I have one question. Just now, Bhante did mention that the source of this space is from the sixth sense base, the mental factor. So now is from the intention and the view that has the effect on our speech. So when we talk about what should we mention, I mean, when been taught, okay, what's the source of the speech? Is it really is from the sixth sense base that trigger the mental to the intention? Is it, Bhante?
Let me ask you, where does our right view lie in us? Where is it? Where is it located? Our right view. We cannot locate a place for that.
Yeah.
But right view lies in our way of looking at life outside, what do you call, around and beyond. And then we construct with our view, our what do you call, perspective, our perspective. When your perspective is going to be wholesome, that you are not going to do anything wrong out there, good stuff you are going to do, then the intentions, they are mental stuff, right? Mental intentions start to come up in the proper way. You cannot create words at the intention level because you have to create intention first. Through the intentions, you are creating your vocabulary, your words, right? So that is how it works. For those people who are having always bad words, they are not having what you call right intentions.
Okay.
They are just saying whatever they have in their environmental life. Some people's words are based on where they are living. Sometimes, if you are living in a crime neighborhood, if you are living in a very bad neighborhood, then your words are also going to be bad, because those are the words you get to hear all the time. If you are living in a household, everybody is swearing each other, everybody is trying to curse out each other, so your words are also going to be affected. That is why we need Kalyana Mitras, right? So that is how it works. So Vitakka Vichara comes from Samma Sankappa level. Yeah. Any more questions?
Sorry, Bhante. I need to leave the room now.
Yeah, not a problem.
Sorry. Good night to all of you. Thank you very much, Bhante.
Okay, so let's go to the transference of merits now. So today we discuss about the right speech, sammāvācā. It's a very long term, but we discuss the most important aspects of the sammāvācā, how to understand the different evil, unwholesome areas of our speech. They are lying, so we have to always stay away from lying. And also we discuss about the divisive speech. We have to always use words to harmonize people, bring people together. And also our speech has to stay free from strong language. I would say from harsh speech. I have to always use the good words to, keep our courtesy, politeness. And also we have to avoid from frivolous talk. That means we're going to use all the friendlier, I would say, worthy, important, useful, beneficial words, speeches among us between two. This is right speech. So we're going to be discussing Dhammacakkappavattana next Friday. So let's focus on all the good karmas which we've been doing, accumulating to this point of time. May all the good karmas be transferred to all the departed relatives passed away in the name of all of us. If the departed relatives passed away in the name of all of us were already reborn in a place of pain, discomfort, may they be able to be released from those places and to be reborn in Kamasugatis, comfortable places where they can spend life comfortably. May they be able to learn more Dhamma and apply more Dhamma and finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idamme ñāti nanghotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti nanghotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti nanghotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. May all the good karmas be shared by all the devas, nagas, and mahidikas. May devas, nagas, mahidikas be well and happy. May they also protect, bless all of you, reverend monks, devotees, and everybody who joined for our TR Vista discussion, and other people, everybody, all living beings. Be protected and blessed by the deities, nagas, mahidikas for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, and all the good things. Finally, may devas, nagas, and mahidikas also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadaṃ sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadaṃ sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha ammehi sambatang punya sampadaṃ sabbe sattva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummattha devānaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva tirang rakkhaṃtu lūkaṣāsanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devānaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva cirang rakkhaṃtu desanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha Devanaga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkang Tumang Paranti Chirang Rakkang Tumang Sadati. This Mamparanti means me, I. Twang means other people. So we just do in both ways. Also, may all the good karmas be supportive for us to be in the company of the Kalyana Mitras, noble friends. A time like this is very high and very important because the company of noble friendships, noble friends is very rare. So with that in mind, we're going to wish with this stanza. Imina punya kamena mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yavanibbana pantiyam. Finally, may all the good karmas which we have been accumulating in all these ways be helpful and supportive for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silissa nichang vaddha pachayino chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati saminchatu. Sadhu, sadhu. That is the end of today's session. So the discussion day 55. So we're going to be discussing sammāvācā next Friday, which involves the action part. Now this is the speech part, and last week was the intention part. So good night, everybody.
Good night,
And I
Bhante.
hope.
Thank you.
Oh, are you having your procession this Sunday?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Looking forward.
Looking forward to.
6:37. 6:37.
Oh,
7
great.
o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah, I might ask you different things about it then next Friday. How does this go? Yeah,
Oh,
floating
yeah.
procession. We don't see it in Sri Lanka, though. Very interesting. We don't see the floating processions in Sri Lanka unless they have the Katina procession. Interesting.
Oh, Katina.
Yeah.
I see.
Whoever
I
introduced
see.
this to Malaysia, but it looks very, interesting and harmonizing, learning.
Yeah.